This lecture is going to focus specifically on the two concepts of absolute and comparative advantage that were presented to you in Chapter 2 from the textbook. To review, absolute advantage is when an individual, a firm, or a nation has the ability to produce a good or service using less resources than another individual, firm, or nation. So you can look at it that way, that they use less resources to get the same production, or the way we typically look at these examples is the two countries or individuals put the same resources in, but one country gets a higher yield. They produce more, okay? Then we would say that country or individual has an absolute advantage. This is different from comparative advantage. Comparative advantage is when an individual, firm, or nation can produce something at a lower opportunity cost than others. This means that the value of what they have to give up is less than what someone else would have to give up. So let's look at a specific example. We're going to have two countries, Shetland and North Mocha. Each country has available what we're going to call 5 resource units. And a resource unit is simply going to be a combination of those 4 resource types that were covered in an earlier chapter. And these resource units will then be used to produce either cotton or wheat. So those are the two goods that our countries can produce. We're going to start out and they're going to divide their resources evenly. Each country will put 3 resource units into producing cotton, and their remaining 2 resource units will produce wheat. This would yield the following. Shetland would produce 30 bales of cotton and 60 bushels of wheat. North Mocha would produce 15 bales of cotton and 40 bushels of wheat. So based on the definitions that I presented earlier, which country do you suppose has an absolute advantage in producing cotton? Again, they're putting the same resources in, 3 units total. So who has the greater yield, Shetland or North Mocha? Now think about the production of wheat. When you compare what each country can produce, which country has an absolute advantage in producing wheat? Hopefully, you figured out that Shetland has an absolute advantage over North Mocha in producing both of our goods. Why? Because again, they're putting the same resources in, yet they're getting a higher yield. Both countries put 3 resource units into cotton. Shetland gets 30 bales out, North Mocha only 15. 30 is greater than 15, and therefore we would say this is an absolute advantage. Then when we look at wheat, both countries put in 2 units. Shetland gets 60, North Mocha only 40. So again, they have that absolute advantage over North Mocha. Also look when each country is just doing their own thing in terms of total production. So total production between the two countries currently is 45 bales of cotton and 100 bushels of wheat. And this will be important in a moment. So now let's look at the idea of comparative advantage. In order for trade to make us better off, we should specialize in exchange with one another based on the idea of comparative advantage. So again, here we're looking for which country has the lower opportunity cost, which country is giving up less than the other country. So to help us look at this, I pulled in the same chart, okay, from the previous slide, so you can see what the two countries are able to produce when they work independently. Now here, we're going to start working on calculating that idea of opportunity cost. And again, what are you giving up? Well, to gain wheat, you give up cotton. To gain cotton, you give up wheat. So you simply take the 60 bushels of wheat that Shetland could have produced and divide that by their 30 bales of cotton. When you calculate this out, we would find that the opportunity cost is 2 bushels of wheat per 1 cotton bale. We'll do the same thing for North Mocha, dividing their 40 bushels of wheat by 15 bales of cotton, which comes out to 2.66 bushels of wheat. And then for each country, we'll do the same thing with their wheat calculations. And you're really just flipping these fractions. So now it's 30 bales of cotton divided by the 60 bushels of wheat, or half a bale per bushel, and 15 bales divided by 40 for North Mocha, or 0.375. Now the reason two of these numbers are in red is because once we calculate the opportunity cost, we'll compare the opportunity cost of each country. Okay, and so the red illustrate the lower value, because giving up 2 bushels of wheat for 1 cotton bale is less than giving up 2.66 bushels. On the other hand, giving up 0.375 bales of cotton is less than giving up half a bale of cotton. So what we see is that Sheetland has a 2-to-1 advantage over North Mocha in the production of cotton. They've got that lower opportunity cost. They only have to give up 2 bushels of wheat instead of 2.66 bushels. And again, I pulled in that chart from the previous slide. So Sheetland is going to specialize in the production of cotton. Okay, so Sheetland is going to be cotton. All right. And by specializing, what we mean is all 5 of their resource units, instead of dividing them, now all 5 resource units will go into the production of that one thing. North Mocha, on the other hand, has a comparative advantage in wheat. Okay, why? Because the 3.75 bales they give up, that's a smaller number, okay, than 0.5 bales for Sheetland. So if we produce based on comparative advantage, total production would increase. But in order to figure this out, first we have to calculate what each country would produce with only 1 resource unit. So I pulled these first 2 columns of numbers, so resource units, total production from previous slides. Okay, again, Sheetland is going to focus on cotton. Well, previously Sheetland put 3 units into cotton and they were able to produce 30 bales. So their per unit production is simply 30 bales divided by 3 units, or 10. But they have a total of 5 units, and what we're saying is now all 5 of those units are going to go to cotton. So 5 units times 10 bales per unit would give us a total production in cotton of 50 bales. We'll do the same thing for North Mocha, but now our focus is on wheat production. Previously, North Mocha put 2 units in and yielded 40 bushels of wheat. So 40 divided by the 2 units would give us 20 bushels of wheat per resource unit. Again, they have 5 resource units available, so 5 units times 20 bushels would give us a total yield of 100 bushels of wheat. And this is just kind of summarizing that. Again, 5 resource units in, 50 bales produced, 5 resource units into wheat here, 100 bushels produced. And when I said earlier, pay attention to the totals, it's because previously when the countries worked independently, we were only producing 45 bales of cotton, and we were also producing 100 bushels of wheat. But overall, we have gained 5 bales of cotton by specializing and exchanging with each other based on the ideas of comparative advantage.